Thank you very much, Mr. Philip, for your time. I'd like to ask a few questions after hearing your comment. First of all, earlier in your comment, you shared a quote which suggested a courageous state should serve as a laboratory. How can Nepal act as the litmus for people who are ready to embrace federalism?
I think it's a work in progress. When Justice Brande wrote his dissent, he was a committed democratic socialist judge. But as a court, he has to articulate this in the form of a principle. So he argues that there should be a negotiation between the federal and the state and the local decentralized organs that both should respect each other, and the bench, which is the Supreme Court, should try to harmonize this and give recognition to the decentralized bodies and do not strike down the attempt to find their noble experiment as a decentralized entity, so that federalism is not just a phrase, but that it works, that the equitable distribution of resources, power of taxation and licensing, although normally with the center, there should be due recognition, even by a constitutional organ like the Supreme Court, to give power to the decentralized bodies. So for Nepal, the litmus would be, I think, as demonstrated in this conference, there are so many gifted Nepalis, both in the members of parliament and in the various non-profit organizations, and the next generation, like people like you all, are going to work towards realizing a federalism that is just and equitable.
Thank you. Next one would be, what according to you can be a crux that can be taken from the conference that would act as a guiding factor to improve the Nepalese federal system?
I do not know enough of the Nepalese federal system, but from what I listened and read from the literature, the normative rules that is embedded in the constitution of Nepal, the 7th constitution, is an extremely valuable and is a guiding platform. In fact, if I may say, the Nepalese constitution in fiscal decentralization, the topic this morning, has much more detail and granular fairness than even Malaysian constitution. And so the crux, you say, the crux is a very interesting word, crux, Priyati. The crux is, what is the crossroad that we can have in Nepalese choices, all right? Each of those choices will be translated through your electoral contestation politics, through citizen engagement with the non-profit organizations and bodies that are trying to build developmental capacity. So the crux I take away, and it's hard to summarize a whole range of takeaway, I take away 3 points. 3 Ps. The poignancy of what Nepalis have gone through, the blood that has been shed, that has begun to build this republican democracy, the passion of which people still have for their community and their nation, and finally, the principles of which we need to harness this passion together. I take away from this conference that crux.
Thank you very much. My final question is, what message do you have for young lawyers like us?
I am an adjunct staff in my old faculty, the oldest law school. I was a pioneering batch when I was a young lawyer like you, aspiring. I think for young lawyers, you need to navigate between building a sustainable future for your own self as a professional, being able to equip yourself professionally to engage the marketplace, to have a sustainable income so that you can build and enrich your personal and professional life. But never forget that man shall not live by bread alone. Oliver Wendell Holmes, the great American judge, says, we must never sell our birthright. As a lawyer, we are a profession. We are not just a business. A profession is a calling, a vocation. In that attempt to navigate between a calling that you have, that noble calling, to advance the cause of justice, not just for your clients, but in the wider public sphere, this is something I would like to encourage young, new generation of lawyers. That's why I returned back to my faculty to teach not just law, which I could, but I teach law and literature, that you maintain a rich moral imagination, empathy for the marginalized, and care for the world of which we have been given. Just like your name, a care for nature and its creation. We are all God's creatures under God's heaven. And for us to have a short time on earth to do what we can, that is good.
Thank you, sir. Your message inspired me, and I'm sure it will inspire other young lawyers like me around the country and around the world. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Namaskar.
For you, thanks. From Kathmandu University School of Law.
Yes.
Yeah, who is the organizer of this program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, and I'm so pleased to be here sharing the little knowledge I have.